Thing's not gonna give me like brain cancer or anything.
Oh, it already has. That oozing sensation you have in your ears, that's your brain's melting out.
Okay.
Sorry.
I gotta be on the edge of the chair, I can't stay.
Good arm weight.
Introduce yourself.
Okay, as John told you, I'm his dad. I thought about, I wasn't aware I was gonna have an audience. I thought I was just gonna come up here and do it and go home. So, I thought about this and I thought, I'll start when I was a little kid, about this guy's age. And this is living proof that prayer does work. But be very careful what you pray for. You might get it. I lived out in the boondocks, or my mother still lives there, north end of Iowa City. And when I was this little guy's age, what are you, about 12? 10, I was 10 years old. At that time, it was out in the country. Now it's got houses and all stuff all around it. All the neighbor kids had a horse, and I didn't have one. And my parents were not affluent people. They didn't have the money to buy horses for their kids. And I was the oldest of 5. If I got one, the other 4 were standing in line. So they couldn't buy one horse. They would have had to have bought 4 horses. So I had to figure out a way to get a horse. And I didn't, when you're 10 years old, there's just no way. So I was sitting there crying one Sunday afternoon after we got home from church, and looking out the kitchen window, and my dad came and asked me, "What are you crying about?" Boy, the tears were just a-rolling, because I could see down the lane the other kids riding their horses by. They were going out to this other kid's farm, and they were going to have a get-together of the kids, and I don't know, cookout kind of a thing. And I couldn't go because I didn't have a horse. And I told him, I've got to find a way to get a horse. And I had prayed my buns off, but I didn't have a horse. So my dad said, "Well, give me a few minutes here." And I thought, yeah, a few minutes. How are you going to produce a horse in a few minutes? So he goes to the phone and he calls up some old Honyaker about 10 miles out north Iowa City. And that following Wednesday, it was like 3 days later, I had my first farm job at 10 years old, because I had grown fairly tall, stand up one time. I was probably a foot taller than this young fellow here. All the Mohairans kind of did that. They grew a pretty good growth spurt and became most of their adult height by the time they were 10 or 12 years old. And I could reach the pedals on a tractor and replace, I wasn't about this wide. I weighed about half as much as this guy. Skinny as a rail. You could count my ribs across the street through an overcoat. I was so skinny. But I could reach the pedals on a tractor and replace a man who could chunk the bales and all that. So I had my first farm job. And within about a month, I owned a horse. Wow. It cost me $125. I only earned $75 a month on that farm. But he kind of threw in a few bucks so I could buy this horse, and his name was Danny. A great horse, just the finest horse I ever had in my life.